Promises can mean everything, but when broken, sorry means nothing. Hi, I'm James, and this is my take on reality. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Cody, his kids, and how his actions are actually tearing down and deteriorating his relationship with his children. Now, before we get started, I like to ask that if you're getting anything from the channel, that you consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. It helps me out. And hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So give me that HBO special down below and I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you are already subscribed, think about giving us a thumbs up. It helps me know that you guys are actually getting something from the videos and you're enjoying them. Thanks. Now let's get it. Now, the funny thing is, it's easier to fight for a principle than it is to live by a virtue. That in and of itself is a form of hypocrisy. When I see Cody and how he interacts with his children and the things that he'll later go back and say during the confessionals, the only thing I can think about is how Cody is actually a hypocrite. Because he'll stand there and say, as a father, one of the most important things to do is to help build a relationship and make it healthy with your children, because I'm all about the family, and the family is the most important thing in the world, and all that great stuff. But then when you look at what he actually does, his actions don't meet the words that come out of his mouth. It's better to have a true enemy than a false friend. It's better that somebody actually come out and say, you know what? I don't like you. I don't want to be around you. I hate the ground you walk on. And every time you cross the street, I hope a bus is coming with the brakes ripped out. I'd rather that than somebody who pretends to be on my side, somebody who pretends to support me in the whole way, either not care about what it is I'm doing or they systematically work against me. I would much rather have a true enemy than a false friend. This is kind of where we are with Cody. It would be easier on the children and the mothers if Cody just came right out and said, I want to be an absentee father. I don't want to deal with children. I don't want to have anything to do with them. This is part of the reason why I always call the kids Robin's kids, Christine's kids, Janelle's kid, and Mary's kid. At the end of the day, I don't want anything to do with them because I don't like children. I like to have a big family, but I don't want the responsibilities of dealing with that family. That would be a lot easier to deal with than what is actually happening in Cody's house. What Cody is doing is he's telling the kids that I'm a great man, I'm a great father, I'm a great family man, I love the family and I prioritize the family and the children and I love them so much, but it's you. Children, it's you. If I don't come around, it's your fault because of the decisions that you make and or the decisions that your mothers are making, which is keeping me from having a relationship with you. So you need to step your game up if you want me to come around. And for him to lay that on a child is heartbreaking. I don't really see where he genuinely cares about what's going on with his children. One of the things parents always say, don't mess with Mama Bear and don't mess with Papa Pump. Don't mess around because Dad find out he willing to give up his freedom, he willing to give up his life, and he willing to take a life if necessary if somebody mess with his children. The one thing that would mean the most to his kids is for him to actually spend time with them. The one thing that he refuses to give up. If you ask Cody, I'm sure he would tell you that, I would do anything for my kids. My kids are the most important thing to the family. Those are the ones that I do all this for. I go to work every day to protect my kids and provide for my kids. But the one thing that you're not providing them is the one thing that they all want, which is your time. You're not spending time with them. They don't care about your money. Your kids are your kids. How many parents are walking around right now and they don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, but they kids love them with everything they got? It's not because the parents gave them a whole bunch of stuff. It's because the parents gave them what was important to the child, which is time. The one thing about children and how you deal with children, it's not about holidays. It's not about presents. What it is about is your presence. Because kids may never remember what it is you gave them or the trips you took them on or that time you went and, cashed out your 401k or you took out a loan so that you could take them on a nice expensive trip. They may remember the trip, but what they remember most about that trip is how you made them feel. What kids remember and what they cherish, they hold on to is how you make them feel as a parent. When I see Cody, the only thing that his kids think about him is the time that he's let them down, or the time that he made them a promise, and I'm going to come around and you're all so important to me and I care about you and I love you so much. Hey, Dad, will you go to the surgery with me? I might go in walking and I might never walk again if I come out and things go wrong. Isabel, would you come to the surgery with me, Dad? No, I can't do that. I got other kids, other responsibilities. Good luck, though. Hey, Dad, I'm about to travel and go to school for the first time. I'm moving away from my family and the people that I've grown up with. You know, we not only have a nuclear family, but we have a mega family because you have 4 wives. I have 17 brothers and sisters. Dad, I'm going to miss you. Will you come with me in the first part of this journey? Dad, will you do that for me? Dad? Nah. Can't do it. I don't really get along with your mama. It's her fault, though, by the way. It's her fault. That's why I'm not going to blame your mama. That's why I'm not going. That and COVID. Yeah, no, those 2 things, that is why I'm not going. What? You don't think that breaks her heart? You don't think that's what she's going to remember? You don't think she's going to remember how you made her feel in that moment? Hell, you could be paying for the car that she's driving in. You could be paying the gas. You could have been doing all that. You could have been stroking out a check so she could actually go to school. You could be doing all those things. But the one thing that she's going to remember from that exchange is how you made her feel when you told her that everything else in the world was more important than her. When she found out that you went, instead of you getting on a plane and going to make sure that she was okay when she got to the hospital, she finds out that you went to a wedding and you were running around dancing like a fool, holding everybody's hands. But then you said that you can't come by and see her because of COVID protocols. But then you went to a wedding where there was no COVID protocols put in place. You can't tell me those people were sitting there observing Robin's rules, wiping down their mail and leaving packages on the steps for 2-3 weeks before they actually showed up to the wedding and kept themselves isolated so that you could actually come there and go home and be safe around your kids. You can't tell me that. You also can't tell me that when you went to Reno, Nevada, and you went to the sportsman event, which is actually you going down to a gun show to sell your wares, that everybody there at that sportsman complex was following COVID protocols, or that you were in a building surrounded by people. And depending on how big the event was, is how many people you came in contact with. You have no idea how many people showing up, who they are, what they're about, what they got going on, whether they're sick or not. You don't know. But you refuse to get in the car and go with your daughter to make sure that her life moves forward because she's not important. But you know, the wedding and the event that you had to go to for work, those were way more important than your daughter. There was no way you were missing those things. But your daughter, well, you know, shit happens. Just got to eat it sometimes, daughter. The life ain't fair. Sorry. These are the things that they remember. And this is why you struggle with your relationship. It has nothing to do with your wives. It has nothing to do with what they're telling them. Your kids will remember what's going on because they're there. They're not getting downloaded on the experience by some third party or some other person. They are part of the experience. They're witnessing what's happening in the house. They understand that dad's not here. Dad never shows up. You can have whatever excuse you want to have in your mouth, but at the end of the day, your kids remember. Here's another question for you. Since we talked about Isabel, let's talk a little bit about Truly, the other child that belongs to Christine. He said that in order for Christine to even consider divorcing him, he had to have 50-50 custody because his time with his daughter is so important and he had to spend time with her. You want to spend time with her, you so much so that you demanding that you get 50-50 custody, and it's got nothing to do with control. It ain't because you trying to block Christine from actually leaving. It's that you really genuinely care about her. In fact, you care so much about you care so much about Truly that you actually said that you would be willing to open your Robin's house and let her stay at Robin's house. You're going to set a room aside, let her stay there, and everything's going to be great and wonderful. Here's another question. You have another daughter with another wife sitting on Coyote Pass right now. Janelle said that when she's dealing with the trailer, things were coming up that she wasn't necessarily ready for, and that your daughter, Savannah, was struggling to be in that trailer. Here's an idea. Why don't we do this? We could split time. Savannah can stay in the trailer with you some of the days, and then she could come stay in Robin's house and get some creature comforts, and she could be comfortable. She might be like her dad, don't want to be inconvenienced, you know what I mean? Then she could come stay with me. Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be great. And you could talk to both Savannah and you could talk to Janelle. My recommendation, you talk to the mother before you approach the child with anything. But you talk to the wife first. Babe, this is what I'm thinking. And if she agrees to it, and she probably would, maybe with a little hesitation, okay, okay, fine, we can do that. Then you say, both go to Savannah and ask her, is this something she's willing to do? And if she's willing to do it, you take her over to Robin's house, you set up a room, but you aren't going to do that. You aren't going to offer Savannah an opportunity to come stay with you at Robin's house for two very important reasons. First reason, she might actually say yes. So with Truly, you knew it wasn't going to happen because Truly was going to move to another state. There was no way in the world you were going to be able to do 50-50 custody, anything with her in another state, because what are you going to do about school? There's no way you can say, oh yeah, jump into my private jet and I'm going to fly you back and forth so that way you can stay with me half the time. And when you on the nights you with me, we're going to fly you back to Utah and you can attend school. Then we're going to fly you back Jay-Z and what Floyd Mayweather style. Get the hell out of here. You don't have that kind of paper and you don't have that kind of time. You don't spend time with your kids now. So there's no way in the world you're going to spend that kind of time with them to make sure that she get back and forth to school. So that was a lie. When it comes to Savannah, same. You don't want to offer Savannah that because there's an opportunity or possibility where she might actually take you up on it. She might look you in the face and say, yeah, Mom, I don't want to stay in the trailer no more. I'm going to go stay at Robin's house and we could play community and family and all that good stuff that they talk about between Mary and Robin. Wouldn't the mother, Robin, want to take care of Janelle's kids too? You supposed to be so close to them and it hurts your heart so much that Christine's talking about leaving. Let me pause and give me a good cry. There's no way in the world Robin will go along with it because at the end of the day, number two reason why you wouldn't do that is because even though Creepy McSneaky doesn't mind looking down on Janelle and spying on her and seeing what's going on in her house and trying to figure out what's going on with her and her life and bringing Mary out and trying to figure out what's going on with her and her life and her situation and trying to keep tabs on everybody, there's no way in the world Simon Robin's going to have somebody staying in her house. Because even though she likes to keep an eye on all the wives, she don't want no eyes on her. She don't want nobody to be able to go back and tell people what's actually going on in the house, what's really going on. When we talk about how you make a kid feel, the most important thing you can do and the most valuable thing you can give them isn't a present, it's your presence. When you are around your children, you're instilling in your children the value of your presence, the value of having you around. Cody wants to be missed so much by his family. One of the things that he said bothered him about his conversation with Truly was the fact that when he was sitting there with Truly talking about getting the divorce, or as Truly described it, he asked me, oh, you know about the divorce? Yeah, I'm okay with it, Truly said. Cody looked there and said, okay, and kept it pushing. So you can hear in her voice, and I don't know this child, but I can see she was hurt. And I can see it affected her. And as her father and as somebody who is even a little bit compassionate and has a little bit of empathy, this might have been an opportunity for you to actually sit down with your child and make sure she's okay. It's those types of instances where you actually take a moment to make sure that your child is feeling safe, secure. She feels confident. She knows what's going on. You're informing her of things. These are the times where she builds that relationship with you. All a relationship is just time, moments, and experiences stacked on top of one another. That's what a relationship is. It's about experiences. So if you give them positive experiences, they'll carry that forward. A friend of mine worked for one of the senior executives in the company. And this young lady, she was doing really well. She was buying her kids everything, finest cars, best schools, just spending tons and tons of money, but she didn't have the time to spend with them. Because she didn't have the opportunity to spend a lot of time with them, she got them a great nanny who spent a lot of time with them. She's the one that would help them and cover their needs, patch their bandages, stitch their clothes, or talk to them, go shopping with them, make sure that they have all the things they needed, cook them meals. They're the ones when they went out and got their heart broke, she's the one that they talked to. Years later, when they were in college, she's stroking out checks so they can go to college, send them to school in brand new cars. Cars cost like $70,000, $80,000 a piece. Sent them to school, no big deal. Mom got it. It's all covered. When Mother's Day came, they called Mom and said, hey, Mom, happy Mother's Day, love you. They talked to her for a little bit, hung up the phone. She found out about a week later that the kids actually came into town where she lived, and they spent Mother's Day with the nanny. It broke her heart. She ran out of the office crying. I'll never forget it. It was the saddest thing I'd ever seen. And it struck me that the one thing she didn't give her kids was the one thing that they wanted the most, her time and her presence. They just wanted her around. They wanted to know her. They didn't know her. They knew the nanny. And in Cody's case, they don't know him. His kids know their mothers, but they don't know him. He's just the guy that comes around. He might be fun and he might be kind of cool to hang around with sometimes. And even as the kids describe him, that's how they describe him. He's cool. He's fun to hang around with. He's really exciting and da-da-da. But they don't know him. And because they don't know him and there's sides of him that they'll never know, they don't have that relationship with him. In the end, your presence is the only gift your kids need. I'm James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life